Good afternoon, everyone. I am Carlos Montesinos. I work as project manager in AVA-ASAJA, and I am going to tell you how the use of cover crops in citrus increase the resilience of crops to the climate change. First of all, the Mediterranean citrus grower climate change is not a remote and vague threat. It's a currently change. According to recent data, the Mediterranean crop reached its lowest level in the last 6 years, about 15% less in 21-22 and 11% below for the 4 years average. Apart from this, the increase in the average temperature favors the installation of new pests from other warmer climatic zones. The sector is also facing the threat of the possible entry of the disease known as Huanglongbing HLB, the yellow dragon, or citrus greening. This disease, described as the most devastating disease of the crop, drastically reduces the yield and the quality of the fruit, and it's capable of causing the death of the trees in a period of only 3 to 5 years. The HLB disease is caused by bacteria Candidatus liberibacter that live and multiply in the phloem of the tree. These bacteria are transmitted to other healthy trees by insect vectors, two psyllids, Diaphorina citri and Triotha erythrae. Until relatively recent years, only 2 citrus growing areas in the world have been free for HLB and its vectors, Australia and the Mediterranean basin. However, European citrus farming is currently under serious threat following the detection of one of the insect vectors, Triotha erythrae, in the Iberian Peninsula and its recent spread along the Atlantic sides of the territory, and following the recent detection and the spread of Diaphorina citri in Israel in 2022. Currently, there is no cure for HLB disease, and the best control strategy is prevention. Therefore, the implementation of adaptive strategies could help not only to prevent the entry of the disease, but also to increase crop resilience to mitigate the negative effects of the climate change on citrus. Under this approach, the Life Vida for Citrus project developed and implement sustainable adaptive mitigation and prevention strategies in the face of climate change and the entry of HLB into the UA. Implementation of green infrastructures is recommended to increase functional biodiversity and enhance soil carbon sequestration through the design and implementation of cover crops, hedgerows, green corridors, and insect hotels to increase the tolerance of citrus to the new pest. In this study, we have focused on cover crops of grasses and flowering plants. Let's start by commenting the main results obtained in the study. In the first graph, we can see how the number of beneficial insects increase when there is a cover crop on the plot where they can take refuge, compared to plots where this type of cover crops is not disturbed, as can be seen in the green-gray bars. A higher presence of useful insects allows for better pest control, reducing the threshold in plots with cover crops and other ecosystem services. Spiders are one of the main pests of citrus. In this study, grass cover crops were found to be a very positive refuge for the spider's mite predators. The content of beneficial mites in these areas is much higher than in control areas. As we have seen above, the use of agroecological infrastructures makes it possible to reduce spider damage in plots. In this last study, we wanted to check whether there was a direct relationship between the type of cover crops used and the type of insect found. The results showed that there is a correlation and that insects have a preference for one type of cover crop or another. For example, Micrococcinellid shows a preference for alternate flowers and grass rows, significantly increasing their population in these plots. In addition, cover crops have other ecosystem benefits. Continuous mowing provides green manure for the field. This study shows how after the installation of the cover crops in 2020, in 2 years, the organic matter content of the soil increased considerably in all these plots studied. It is reminded that a high content of organic matter in the soil is essential for a correct productivity of the plots. As conclusions and future perspectives, biological control has a key role to play in the management of HLB vectors. The use of ecological infrastructures creates a more diverse and favorable agroecosystem for the presence of natural enemies. The abundance of key natural enemy groups seems to increase only 2 years after the establishment of these infrastructures. Increased presence of key natural enemies has cascading effect of the incidence of key crop pest. Future studies of the use of the resource offered by ecological infrastructures will optimize the use of these strategies. This is all the partners who have participated in the project, and this is all. Thank you very much for your attention.